Hi YouTube! I'm Taylor, welcome to Ginger Next Door. Today's video is going to be my 2018 beauty favorites. Listen, I realize that we're in the last week of January and I'm just now talking about this, but I had every intention of filming this video at the beginning of the month. I had every intention of filming a lot of videos at the beginning of this month, but I have no other excuse other than anxiety got the best of me and I didn't do it. But I'm working on not being such a little bitch all the time. Plus, also, newsflash, this is my channel. I can talk about whatever I feel like talking about it. Plus, like, it's still January, so I can still talk about last year's favorites, right? Right. So, I just have a few things to talk about today. I didn't try out a ton of new products this year. I don't know why. I just kind of stuck with some old, but I did find a few little gems that I like that I want to talk about. I'm also going to do a completely separate video for all of the skincare and hair and kind of random things that I found this year that I really like, because otherwise this video would be 10 years long, so... The first thing I'm going to talk about is this big, beautiful box sitting right here. This is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush set. First of all, I never knew that I needed all of my brushes to be in a box. This was something that I never would have thought of, but they're so much better than having them in a brush roll because this helps them to keep their shape better. So first of all, I absolutely love the box it comes in, so even if you just want a box for your brushes, I would highly recommend it. Morphe is pretty much the brushes that I use almost all the time. Anyways, but I love this set. It gives you literally everything that you need. It's worth the money. I went back and forth for a long time deciding if I wanted to get it, and I'm so glad I did. It's wonderful. Okay, I'm just going to work my way through this little pile. The next thing I want to talk about is the Busy Gal Brows from Tarte. I absolutely love this. It basically is just a brow mascara. My natural eyebrows are very, very, very light. I like to use this as my first step in my brows before I go over it with a pencil, because then I can actually see where my brow hairs are, and it does most of the work for me, and then I just have to fill in a little bit with a pencil. So I love this. If you have very, very light brows, or even if you just want a little bit more defined but not a full-on bam in your face brow, highly, highly recommend this. Okay, I have a couple of different priming things that I used this year that I really loved. This is the Becca Backlight, oh, I keep calling this the wrong name. This is the Becca First Light Priming Filter. This is the purpley one. This is a hydrating and more illuminating primer. I heard people talk about this on YouTube for years. I felt like people constantly are talking about this and they love it. And I was really hesitant to use a hydrating primer or an illuminating primer because I tend to be a little bit more oily. But I find that especially in the winter, this is beautiful under a foundation or under like a BB cream or a really lightweight tinted moisturizer. I absolutely love this. Since it has a little bit of a purple tint to it, it really helps to even everything out and takes care of any like dark spots and things like that, and it just gives you this really beautiful hydrated glow, but it doesn't make you super oily, which I really, really appreciate. So I like this one a lot. The other primer type product that I picked up this year that I really loved is the Hard Candy Instant Eye Fix. This is an under eye treatment. I like to use this underneath of foundation and concealer. I feel like it really helps to depuff and it really primes your under eyes so you don't have as many little settling and creasing, and I feel like it helps my concealer stay on all day. I love this. It's very, very, very inexpensive because it's from Walmart. Speaking of loving things that are illuminating, the L'Oreal Glotion is one of my favorite things that I think I've ever used on my face. I have mine in the shade 901 Fair Glow. I like to use this either by itself underneath foundation or mixed in with a foundation or BB cream. It just gives like the most beautiful, glowy, all over dewy kind of look to your foundation. But I love it because it does not have like weird chunky glitter in it. It just gives you a really beautiful, like healthy glow. The next one I feel like is kind of cheating because I only used this the last like 2 months of the year, but I absolutely love this foundation. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. I've heard good things about this for a few years now, and I finally decided to pick it up, and I am absolutely in love with it. This is a light to medium but very buildable coverage, so if you like a full coverage, this would be great for you. If you like more of a medium coverage, this is also great if you use it with like a damp beauty sponge. This is more of a matte finish, but I absolutely love it. It doesn't dry your skin out and it looks amazing. It doesn't crease, it doesn't settle, and I find that it lasts all day long. I don't generally do a super full coverage, so for me this is full coverage. This is the most coverage that I use in foundation, and I absolutely love it. I would highly recommend this one if you're looking for a good, affordable foundation. I have to admit something. This is the year that I fell in love with setting sprays. I think before this year I had tried a couple of different setting sprays and didn't really feel like they did that much for me. Turns out I just wasn't using enough, and now I love to just drench my entire face and everything just melts together and I love it. So 2 of them that I used this year a ton are the Urban Decay All Nighter and the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I love this one because it gives you the most amazing mist. It's very, very fine, and it's a continuous spray so you can get as much as you want and drench your face until you're glistening. It's incredible. And then of course the Urban Decay All Nighter is like a cult favorite. I don't know why it took me so long to fall in love with it, but I'm on board. I I absolutely am obsessed. This says, mist faced 2 to 4 times. 20 to 40 times? The next thing is another one that took me forever to jump on the bandwagon, but now that I'm on it, I will never stop using it. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I've gone through like 3 or 4 of these, and I absolutely love them. Plus, they smell amazing. It's a really beautiful neutral bronzer. It's not too warm, it's not too cool. It has the slightest bit of shimmer to it, but not anything chunky or glittery, to the point where you can barely tell that it's there unless you really look closely, but I absolutely love this. I think it's amazing. Physicians Formula, I will say, is a little bit pricey for the drugstore, but this is one product that I feel like is completely worth it. I started using this eyeliner at the very end of what year is it? I started using this at the very end of 2017, and I absolutely love it. This is the Man Eater mascara. It's not a mascara, it's an eyeliner. This is the Man Eater eyeliner from Tarte. I love it because it has that little tiny micro tip on it, so it's really easy to get very precise and get exactly the wing that you want. It's also very pigmented, so you don't have to go over it a million times. Before this liquid liner, I never really liked a brush tip because sometimes you would have like one of those weird little hairs that would like stick out funny, and then all of a sudden you would have an extra line in your liner. Do you know what I'm talking about? This one I feel like doesn't ever do that. I absolutely love it. The next thing I want to talk about is the Makeup Revolution Luxury Baking Powder. I have mine in the shade Lace. This one comes in a few different shades, and they just expanded their shade range too. I love this because you can use it for baking under your under eyes. You can pack a ton on there, brush it off, and you have the most perfect finished under eye, or you can just use it all over to set your face. It's fantastic. And again, very cheap. I don't like to say cheap. I like to say inexpensive. Cheap makes it sound like it's crappy. It's inexpensive. It's a drugstore brand. And then I just have a few more things in here. These are all lip products. I used a lot of my same lip products that I've been using and loving for the past few years. I absolutely love the ColourPop liquid lipsticks. I use those constantly. The Stila liquid lipsticks are another one of my absolute favorites. And then I own way too many. I'm looking over there because I'm looking at the 30 that are sitting on my counter. I have a ton of the Maybelline lipsticks, just their regular lipsticks that come in a tube. They're incredible and such a good price. This year I actually fell in love with the Flower Beauty liquid lipsticks. These are the Miracle Matte lips. The 2 shades that I absolutely love are Rosewood and Merlot Kiss, which is on my lips right now. These are both so pretty. They last all day, they go on so smooth, and they have the creamiest formula, but they dry down to be so matte, but they're not uncomfortable and they're not sticky at all. I feel like they last a really long time on the lips, and I absolutely love them because if you do need to touch them up, if you ate or whatever and need to just fix little areas, you're able to just add on top of it. Some liquid lipsticks you cannot go back over. It starts to like do that weird peely flaky thing. This one doesn't do that. It keeps my lips hydrated underneath, but it stays very matte. Love it. Another lip product that I've been absolutely loving this year are the Maybelline Superstay Matte Inks. These are insane. They go on and they do not come off, to the point where it's kind of terrifying. The first time that I wore these was actually last, like New Year's Eve 2017, so beginning of 2018. I wore this, we went out to dinner, and it stayed on the entire night. When I went to wash this off of my mouth, I washed my entire face and stood up and looked in the mirror, and the lipstick was still on. Soap and water and everything, and it did not come off. It was horrifying. Luckily I was smart and I picked up the little like eraser stick that they have. It basically looks like a clear lipstick that just melts down the lip ink so that you can actually get them off of your face, but these are amazing. They're super long lasting, but they're pretty comfortable. They're a little bit drying, but it's worth it because they do not move. I mentioned that I felt like I was cheating talking about that Milani foundation I've only been using for a couple months. I actually feel like I'm cheating because I think I've had this lipstick for like 3 weeks. But I love it, so I have to talk about it because I've used it so many times. This is the L'Oreal Color Rich Lilac Impulse. This is the most beautiful purpley mauve I've ever used. I also love this because it smells amazing. It reminds me of the smell of like when you're a little kid and you go put your mom's lipstick on. Sorry, Mom. It's more of a hydrated finish. They're not super matte, but they're not really glossy creamy either. They're perfect, and I love them. Plus, the packaging is so beautiful. Okay, the very last thing I want to talk about is probably my absolute favorite thing that I started using this year, which is crazy because there's a lot of stuff sitting in front of me. This is the MAC Lip Glass Lip Gloss. This is just their clear one. It comes in a squeezy tube. It looks amazing over everything. It is the most gorgeous, perfect, clear gloss I have ever used in my life. I feel like it stays on for a really long time, which never happens with glosses. It doesn't have any shimmer in it. It's not super sticky, and it also doesn't feather, which is crazy. I feel like a lot of times with a lip gloss, you look in the mirror and you have these weird little lines where it's just kind of like drifted outside of your lip area, but this one does not do that. It's insane, and I honestly cannot believe how much I love it. Alrighty, and we have come to the end of this video. I feel like that went by really quickly. I didn't have a ton of new stuff to try out, like I said, but these are the things that I did try out that were top drawer. I would love to know what your favorites were for 2018, and maybe they'll be my 2019 favorites. I hope that you liked this video. I realized I was talking very fast. I always talk very fast, but I feel like it was extra because I had caffeine and also my camera's about to die, so I've been trying to get through this really quickly. If you did enjoy this video, you know the drill. Like this video, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. The next video that I'm going to be posting will be all of my skincare and hair stuff, favorites, and random things from 2018, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Alright, if you'll excuse me, I really must be going. I have a very important meeting. When I say important meeting, I mean I'm going to Del Taco. Goodbye!